Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Wow, it's my first time to say good evening because we're starting our show late at 6 o'clock p.m. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing great. Is it Thursday? Yes, it's Thursday. It's Thursday evening, and I'm so glad I'm able to see you again because the last time we had a webinar, that was last year in December. I got too busy. We had so many preoccupations happening because the economy was opening up. And so I wasn't able to do a lot of free webinars, but we're back. And I think that's what matters at the end of the day. And so my team and I were trying to discuss and say, should we continue our free webinars or should we do something that's more relevant? And I've noticed on a daily basis, we always get a lot of your letters about your boss, your colleagues, your payroll, your job interviews. And we realized the best way to address them is to feature them in this show. And so there you have it. We have the Career Clinic, which is a talk show about featuring your letters about your career concerns. And one by one step at a time, one employee or manager at a time, we're going to be giving you some tips of advice. And of course, because we have a lot of viewers also tuning in, we're going to be crowdsourcing your responses in this session as well. If it's your first time to engage with us, and I just want to quickly have a introduction about this. So my name is Jonathan, and I specialize in organizational behavior. I'm also an advocate and enthusiast of career management. So whether it be about public speaking or business writing, my consultancy firm, which is the JY Consultancy and Ventures Group, specializes in those fields. Before I start, so I'm looking at the chat box right now, can I get an exclamation mark if you're all ready to engage with us? Before I introduce, by the way, my partner, who's going to be my partner for the rest of the sessions we're going to have. There you go. Thank you. I want to do a quick attendance check as well. If you happen to be from a city or a country, could you please type in the chat box where that is so we can give you guys a shout out? And of course, if you happen to be interested to watch our past webinars, which have been archived in our Facebook page, you can all catch them by scanning the QR code, or you can copy the link into your browser. That is jonathanyabut.com/webinars. All right, there you go. I'm finally seeing your exclamation marks. Thank you, guys. It's been a while. I didn't miss it, by the way, because doing webinar is a lot of job. It may look like it's so easy, but it's not. From preparing the slides down to managing the StreamYard, it's not easy. But I'm happy I get to see a lot of you. I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat box again. So familiar names. Thank you. All right. So here's the onus of the session. The next time around, if you happen to be that person who may have career issues, this is my email address. Please send it. Take a photo, take a screenshot if you cannot copy it immediately. That's jonathanyabut@jycvasia.com. So we have some folks from Leila is from Laguna, Genesis from Abra, Anne Lay is from Bulacan, Fiamat May, that's a very unique name, is from Mandaluyong. Thank you. Ron is coming from Kuala Lumpur. Jubilee is also coming from Davao. Teresa is coming from Pangasinan. Okay, so before we start and introduce our letters, I'd like to call now on stage my partner in crime, who's going to be my co-host in this session. This woman has been in my life for many years. Has it been more than a decade? I first met her when she was my colleague in GlaxoSmithKline, where I served in the marketing team. And since then, we have been inseparable. She has been there through thick and thin. And I'd like to believe she's one of the most amazing, curious learner, and exciting people I've known. Whenever I'm with this person, I always get a jolt of energy. So please welcome on stage, marketing expert, cryptocurrency enthusiast as well, K-pop advocate, whatever you call her. Please welcome on stage no other than Miss Farah Rodriguez.
Hello.
Let me just add her as well.
Hello,
There you go.
everyone. Am I there?
Yes, you're
Can you see
online
me?
now, Farah.
Okay. Thanks, Jonathan, for having me on this career clinic show.
Thank you. You're going to be my diagnostic slash
Yes.
expert slash surgeon. I don't know what you call it, but thank you. So Fa, are you excited? What are you expecting in this show? Because it's our maiden episode.
Super excited. I'm expecting a lot of COVID-19 related concerns in the office or in the workplace, especially that all over the world, people are starting to go back to the face to face. set up. So
Agree.
I think there will be questions on that.
I think so. I think we have one in today's
Okay.
episode.
Okay.
I also like the idea that the economy is opening up because I do
Mm,
miss being on stage. I do miss hanging out with people. It's still different when you get to feel the energy and the physical presence
agree.
of your
You
audience,
bounce it off. Your
right?
energies bounce off. So yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the virtual world because it's so convenient. I get to brush my teeth while I'm waiting for my webinar to start. I get to fix my cup of coffee, but it's still different when you get to see people's faces real
Agree.
time as you speak.
Agree.
Okay, so I think we have no time for doing anything else but to start this session.
Yes, let's do
So,
it.
okay, is it okay if I first read this one and then we'll bounce off the ideas? Okay, so this is Reina from Manila. Reina's letter goes like this. I am a new employee in a multinational company. For the past 4 months since I've started, my experience has been disappointing, so I decided to explore and do some job hunting.
Valid.
Last week, right? Wow, she's excited. It feels like she wants to get out of this company. Last week, a company interviewed me and invited me to join. I am tempted to join as the salary offered is higher. The company is known for a fantastic culture. Is it okay to leave? Will my current company penalize me? I am concerned to be labeled as a job hopper when people see my resume. What are your thoughts on this? Fat, would you like to give
So
this a
yeah, a
go?
go. Yeah. So much to unpack here, but I love that Reina. Congratulations for having opportunities no, to choose.
I
So
like how you started that. Like it's an opportunity more than
it
anything
is,
else.
it is. And let's remember that times have been hard. Not a lot of people actually have the opportunity to choose.
That's right.
So first that I saw from the letter is that you've only been with this multinational company for 4 months. That's clear. You're still within your probationary period.
Mm.
And
Probation meaning that this person does not yet have vacation leaves, probably
yeah,
insurance
not
is not
yet
declaring leave.
regularized, correct. And then I think the experience, the disappointing experience was also a valid concern to do some job hunting. Anyway, as we all know it in the workforce, we're always out there to look for new opportunities, right? And then the second paragraph, what was interesting is apart from a higher salary, the company is also known for its fantastic culture. So I think that combo, isn't that combo always an amazing one, Jonathan?
That's right.
So, lastly, on your question, will my current company penalize me for making a move? For example, as I mentioned, you're still within the probationary period. So the probationary period is a for me a two-way thing. It's not just the company checking on you as an employee, but it's also you as an employee
I love
checking
that.
on the company,
I
right?
love that.
So for me, it's definitely okay to leave. And then another valid concern is that you'll be labeled as a job hopper. As a hiring manager, John, admittedly, I also look at the tenure that some employees spend within their careers, and it's simply because we know that it takes time to gain expertise, right, at work,
Mhm.
and you perform better when you reach a certain level of mastery, diba? But at the same time, if you'd be able to contextualize and sell yourself no on a valid reason for leaving, it can be for your mental health reasons, you need a break.
Yeah,
I am
agree.
not in a position to judge, no? So long as these things are clear, I think it's perfectly okay to move.
Yeah. I would echo the same thing. I'm a big believer of this. You should be selfish when it comes to your career. As long as you're not hurting anyone, no one will take good care of your career but yourself. So you think if it's in your best interest to do so because again, I'm gonna make some qualifications here. I'm not sure what exactly do you mean when you say disappointing, Reina. So disappointing could be, for example, like you didn't like the people who you're working with. It could be the
Mhm.
ethics of the company. If that is something that already affects your mental wellness, like every morning it's the only thing you think of, then that means it's a company that may not be worth pursuing. So go. As Farah mentioned a while ago, it's only been 6 months. Then there is no penalty. And by the way, even if you go beyond the 6 months, no company is going to penalize you. It is your
Correct.
right to
I
leave.
think
You can leave anytime you can. The only damage that can potentially happen is the reputation because HR people talk amongst themselves.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Another
that's true.
HR recruiter might say, you know, that Jonathan that I interviewed last time, he's the same guy who's been job hopping from one place to another. I'm also a believer, however, that job hopping is no longer a bad thing as long as there's a justification for it, such as,
Mm-hmm.
bad job hopping is leaving a company every 2 months after you just been settled down. And then every year or every company, you just do that all the time. Good job hopping is 2 or 3 years you jump because you think that it doesn't excite you anymore, or simply
Mm-hmm.
because you were tricked into admitting yourself into a contract and their promises were not at all fulfilled.
Also, Jonathan, for me, what's critical is making sure that you do your job, doing a proper turnover. So long you don't burn
Agree.
bridges, or is up until your last day. If you can promise to
They,
be on your feet to perform, there shouldn't be any issue.
agree. I'm reading this message from Hazel in the chat box. I am merely satisfied with my current company, but it's not motivating. A company approached me, so I decided to move. Only 5 months. Yeah. There's no penalty. There's no crime, ladies and gentlemen, if ever you move out. As long as you fulfill everything before you leave, you'll be fine. Okay. All right. Let's move on. By the way, can I get an exclamation mark from our listeners? Are we all good so far? I hope that was able to give us some nuggets of wisdom about, is it okay to leave if it's still very premature? I haven't done it in my job, however. I think the last time it happened to me, I almost did it, but I gave it for 6 months because 6 months usually is the time when you already have enough information to decide whether it's okay to quit or to leave.
Mhm.
3 months, I think, can be premature. Like you haven't yet been
Agree.
exposed to everything. You probably have been in a wrong timing of the year that you were exposed to the bad things that disappoint you. So just like any relationship, don't give up yet on it. Give it a few more months or time. Humuhugot talaga ako, di ba?
Oo,
Before you
relationship
move on.
eh.
Okay. All right. I'll give this floor to you. Let's read our second letter.
All right, all right. So our second letter is from Juniel in Singapore. So Juniel says, my company is asking all employees to return to office, but they still feel uncomfortable with the potential risk of getting COVID-19. How will I approach my manager? I plan to quit my job instead and look for one that allows work from home.
Mm.
Ito na yon. Ito na yung COVID-19.
This one we were talking about kanina about this.
John, what do you
Can I
think?
start? Can I share my thoughts? Uh, Number one, remember you signed into a contract. The contract of your employment prior to COVID-19 states that you are required to report to office and you agree to report to the office. This is no different now that the society and the environment is deemed to be safer. If you are, for example, in the Philippines, we are in alert level 1, which means from a government point of view, it is relatively safer compared to
Mm,
the last 2 years. So there's no difference. The company has all the legal rights to mandate you to go back to the office. So it now depends on your end if you want. Otherwise, the company can do some actions that might, it's not, I'm not saying that they're going to terminate you, but they're going to see you as a deviant employee versus the rest. Now, if you think that you have reasons to not attend the office, such as medical reasons, there is a way to manage this. Go to your doctor, ask for a medical certificate that
mhm,
allows you to
mhm.
prove that you can be exempted from having to visit the office. So it could be like either delicate asthma, it could be you're
Yeah.
immunocompromised, whatever that is. That is usually protected also by law, and the company should provide a means for you to do it. If, however, you cannot be medically exempted, I'm here to say sorry, but the company can overrule you for that reason. Now, I'm going to end this quick tip by saying, okay, John, then how can I manage my anxiety? My biggest tip is to do it gradually. On your first day, it's totally fine to isolate yourselves first with others, but gradually expose yourself to the point that it gives you a level of comfort. So, for example, when you're conducting meetings, ask your colleagues, can we do the meeting outside al fresco? Right? So gain
That's a
that
great one.
confidence. Gain that confidence. If your company has a balcony or whatever, try to gain that confidence, and then inch by inch, later, day by day, you'll gain that confidence for you to feel like, okay, I did not get sick then I think it's totally fine to continue doing it, because that was my same paranoia, right? I
Mm,
wasn't
mhm. I
comfortable going to
remember.
the grocery, right? I wasn't comfortable to going to the grocery or eating out with you, Fa. But when I finally experienced it, I told to myself, pwede naman pala. Okay naman pala ako. I'm totally fine. I will not get sick as long as I practice proper safety protocols. So it can be a mental thing,
Mhm.
right? And you need to
True, true also.
gradually manage your mindset. How about you, Fa?
Well, ako, I want to contextualize, no, because I've encountered office mates who I assume is fully vaccinated already, boosted even, but are living with senior citizens or children in the
Mm, mm,
household.
mm, mm,
So
mm.
understandable, the risk or the paranoia is still there, no? But at the same time, you can be honest and straightforward with your boss, with your team, but as Jonathan mentioned, you'll be a deviant, and you know how the reality is that you will be missing out on a lot of interactions, face-to-face interactions that may seem trivial or little, but you know what, in
Mm-mm.
the workplace, those little chit chats, those little lunch outs with a team that builds rapport can mean something with accomplishing things. So the
Yeah.
burden now is on you to always catch up on what's happening.
Fact, can I
And
also add, I just
yeah,
experienced it in some of my friends. Some of my friends, when they were required by their company to attend the office, but they did not, some of them were marked as a wall. And a company has
oh,
the right to do that. So
technically yeah, but
I
so
think it's
long as
harsh. I think it's harsh.
medyo
I think it's
harsh.
harsh. But for some companies, depending on the industry, like BPO companies, for example, or companies that require the software to be accessed only in the office. So some of them
Mhm.
do that. So
Yeah.
be mindful of the consequences if you don't attend the office.
On the part naman, Jonathan, about quitting your job to look for work from home opportunities, no, well, that's valid if you really see
But
yourself
for me,
doing a
it's drastic, no? Medyo drastic siya for
very
me.
drastic,
Like, you know,
like remember that even big companies that said work from home will be here to stay are now requiring people to go back to work. I mean, we heard
yeah,
Google before, right? Or the big names in tech say this during the pandemic. But
2023 pa daw sila, but now they're requiring
exactly,
their
right?
their
So
employees. Yeah.
likely hybrid will be a compromise, but majority talaga will require face to face. But I also don't want to close this letter, no, this session without reassuring Juniel that there are um, opportunities that do full work from home or remote setup. Like for me, for example, in my cryptocurrency role, I am 100% remote work from home because my head office is overseas, but I'm based in Manila.
Okay. Yeah. So, Janelle, just be mindful because it's still hard to find a job these days. The economy is not fully open as we think it is. If you're going to be pursuing a work from home position, it might take time, or you need to really scrutinize LinkedIn one by one for those
Agree.
positions.
Agree.
So, good luck. All right. Thank you, Fa. Let's Can I ask for an exclamation mark from our viewers? I hope you're able to get something from that. Let's check your energy. Very good. Before I proceed to the next two letters, I want to give away some tickets to our participants. I'm sure a lot of you have missed this. I want to give away two tickets for our upcoming webinar on April 21. This is email etiquette and business writing, happening on Thursday. So, two tickets for two winners. I'm going to call you out. It's simple. It's a raffle contest. So, I'm going to scroll in the chat box, or if you can help me also, you can just I'm gonna ask Farah to be the one to randomly call out the name so that I don't get called out as being biased, because I get to know
For sure.
I've seen some of the list of the viewers before last year, so people might think I'm being biased. So we're gonna call out now two random folks, and if your name is called out, please claim your prize by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or you can copy the link or take a photo or take a screenshot. Okay, Fa, I'm gonna give you the liberty now, the stage. Could you please call out two names who will be getting free ticket for our email etiquette and business writing?
Yay! Ganito pala yung feeling to pick winners, no? First time ko. Okay.
We don't
I
have a
see,
DTI representative, by the way, but go ahead.
I see Jimwell Palma
Okay, congratulations to
over
Mr.
here.
Jimwell Palma.
Please scan the QR code for that prize. And then I also see Cheryl M. Chua.
Cheryl Chua. Congratulations. So
Congratulations.
our two winners, you get each a ticket to our upcoming workshop. This is April 21. That's about 2 weeks from now. Email etiquette and business writing. And for those who did not win a ticket but you'd like to attend, our slots are open. Go to jonathanyabut.com/webinars. All right,
Nice.
let's proceed. Let's give away one more ticket. This is the last prize before we go to the second part of the session. This one is Boost Your Confidence,
Mm,
happening on April 22, Friday. It's one of our best seller and one of our most popular programs to date. So the
I
ticket
love
is also
this.
799. Yeah. Thank you, Fa. 799 pesos. And if you happen to be interested, you can get another ticket. If you have attended it in the past, you can send the ticket to someone else. So, Fa, can I ask you now to please call two more winners? Has to be
Oh,
different from the ones we called out a while ago.
okay, so two more, no? I see Mariko Manalo.
Mariko Manalo,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
And then I see Mary Ann Petrola Tandog. Congratulations.
Mary Ann Tandog. Congratulations also. You both each get a ticket to boost your confidence. It's an online bootcamp on public speaking and business writing. You can scan the QR code or you can copy the link into your browser. If you need to hurry up, you need just take a photo, take a screenshot of your Facebook Live. All right. And for those who are interested, you can just go to our website, jonathanyabut.com/webinars. All sessions are conducted in English and it's all conducted in Manila time. So for our listeners who may be viewing from other countries, you can attend. We do have nationalities from other countries as well. The entire session is conducted in English. All right. Fa, let me read letter number 3 from
Go ahead.
Samantha from Cebu. My company has been delaying our salaries for the past 3 months. Every month we get it a week later. That's actually long. Is this normal? I also have bills to pay and I have incurred penalty rates, and that's not cheap, by the way, for
Yeah,
not
yeah.
being able to pay my credit card dues. How do I approach my boss or HR? Fact, can you be the first one to answer this? What are your thoughts about, have your salaries ever been delayed in your
In
life, in your
my
experience?
experience, no, because we know that money is a very, very sensitive issue
Yeah.
for employers, employees, no? So this is quite surprising to me. But
Ah,
the con
can I just call this out? Alam mo ako, nagulat din ako because I get to read a lot of letters every day.
mm,
I think I'm coming from a place of privilege kasi majority of my companies were all multinationals, right?
same,
Really big
yeah,
companies.
same.
So wala akong concept na the salaries are delayed. But this is not the first time that I've gotten this. If I were to count, since 2013, I've had more than 20 letters, I think. 20
Okay,
letters that are like this, salaries. And I often see it from companies that are smaller, family
okay,
owned,
understandable.
um,
Mm-hmm.
SMEs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm surprised, but yeah, there are people who struggle with this issue.
Yeah.
Go
But
ahead.
thanks for raising that kasi looking back, ako din, the same background. So we've never experienced this. If ma-experience ko to, it will already sort of alarm me that maybe the company's financial position is not that great. Or
Agree. Agree. Red
second,
flag.
maybe undermanned ang ating payroll team. Either that's HR or finance, whoever is in charge of, disbursing
Ah,
the
agree.
salaries.
Kumbaga, may pera, pero the
Meron
people who are
naman.
processing the payroll
Correct.
are
Like,
not equipped to do it
are
quickly.
they always
Mm-mm.
absent? There's no backup person to handle it, if stuff like that. So these are things that you can ask, proactively ask. It's money, you're entitled to it for work done. I think you should approach both your boss and your HR to raise this concern. Ask what's happening. Is this something that will be happening for the next how many months? Because for all you know, your other office mates or colleagues are also asking the same thing per nahihiya or just shy to raise it. So it may
Mm-mm.
be good for you to take that chance and be the one to address it once and for all.
Agree. I would say the same thing. This is not a normal. situation. Most companies likely get their payments on time, and that's because it's a sensitive issue. People have to pay their bills. So it is indeed a red flag if your company has been delaying it consistently for a few months. It means one thing. I don't know. The company might not see daylight anytime soon. It can be normal, however, in the time of COVID-19. But if you've noticed, it's been 2 years already. A lot of companies have already been able to bounce back. So if your company is still doing this, sometimes you might want to ask the same question to your manager. Or if you can, try to ask a question like, how long, not to demean, but how long do you think will the salaries be delayed because I also have bills to pay, etc. You might also want to work this out externally, meaning if you think that you cannot quit the company and you still need to
Mm,
have this job for now, try to buffer it with a plan B or plan C. And that means, for
correct.
example, like if you're up to pay something important soon, maybe you might need to look for someone that you can borrow money from, or your credit card, or I mean, your credit card already has an issue, right? So it could be a different source of borrowing money, etc.
Or a side
But
hustle.
aside, yeah, I agree. Yeah, a side hustle could be good, right? For my experience, I do know two people in my life, close friends, who have companies that had delayed their salaries. In their case, it only happened for like 4 months. They
Mm,
they rode through the tough times, but after 4 months, it went back to normal. So sometimes
normal.
it's a matter of cooperating with the company, like, okay, I understand you, but can you at least tell me when will the money be given? Right.
Correct,
So
correct.
some owners, especially if it's a small company, pinapakiusapan ang kanilang mga
Mm.
employees about it. All right. Okay. Let's can I get another exclamation mark if we're all good? By the way, can I get a letter S? Who here had their salaries delayed at some point?
In
Just
their
want to see
careers.
their careers. Have I? Yeah, I'm trying to check. Really, it was never. It was never.
Yeah.
There,
And
there was one time. Yeah, go ahead.
or for me, if I were a business owner, I would be very, very transparent about it and give my employees parang a warning already, or not a warning, but issue
Heads up.
a statement, a heads up that your salary for this
Agree.
month, yeah.
That's true. Kumbaga, kung alam kong mangyayari to for the next 3 months or six. Kasi, I mean, I've noticed that this happens for companies na yung collections ng payments nila, it's erratic.
Yeah,
Meaning,
that's true also.
the salaries are coming from revenues, but the revenues are coming from different clients and they are dependent on clients. May mga peak months, may mga slow months. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. If you think that in the next 3 months, hindi makakaahon basta-basta, tell it already to them in advance so that your employees can also prepare something financially from their back end. Okay? Lynn Corpus says no delay so far. That's good. Not delayed, but short. Ano
Ay,
mean ng
iba ang
short?
feelings ko sa short.
Ano mean ng short?
Kulang?
What does that mean? Kulang ba? I think that happened during COVID-19 yung bang nag-slash off ng 25% or 30% yung mga salaries just to make the company be able to get by. I do hope sana binalik yun because if the company is
Oo.
not paying you in full, it's really a red flag that you don't even have any cash reserves in the first place. I mean, if you've been in the company, if
Exactly.
you've been existing for too long, you should at least to have a certain amount of savings kept.
Ayan, kulang daw. So that's for
Kulang, wow.
petition.
Kelly
You can
question, binalik mo sa inyo ang pera? Where the money, I mean, at some point when the company was doing well already, did they give the money at some point? Like yung kulang? I hope they did.
or i-challenge mo ng computation. Paano?
Yeah.
Paano?
Ako sometimes for my team, I'm using kasi a payroll software from a certain bank.
Mm.
So, sometimes meron silang delay ng 1 day because nagkaroon ng glitch. And that happens.
It happens, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All
is
right.
this our
Let's do
fourth
a last.
question?
Yes, go ahead, Pat. I'll give this to you.
Okay. All right, all right. Our fourth question is from Kuala Lumpur, Suchi. So Suchi is asking, how much is the usual salary raise for a promotion? John, I just got promoted and it was less than 5,000 pesos. I was expecting more
That's
since this
around
new...
100 US dollars, by the way. That's not so
Yes,
big.
yes. I was expecting more since this new role will require me to manage 7 people in my team. I've never managed a team. How do I tell this to my boss or HR? Hmm.
So nakukulangan siya, Suchi, you feel like you're being shortchanged. Perhaps you're expecting a higher salary, right? Fa, what do you think? What's the average
Hmm.
percentage for a salary? Because it depends, right?
It
There's
does.
no hard and fast rule.
I
It's
can't
dependent on
give.
it's dependent on the industry. It's also dependent on the company. So
Correct.
I'm just gonna give my own experience. I work in the telecommunications industry. I work in the pharmaceutical industry. I work in the aviation industry. A typical promotion could be as low as 10%, but I've had a promotion at some point. I was increased by 30%. So it will depend on the policies of the company. Try to ask that. Is it normal, however, to get a salary that's lower than your expectation? Yes.
Hmm. Of course. Of
Unfortunately,
course.
because a lot of companies are not transparent on how they compute. So when you
Correct.
see that your 5,000 is lower, you can do two things. Try to ask your HR, how was it computed, right?
I
Now,
was gonna say that.
can I go to a point, Jonathan, where I can even ask HR, why is it only 5,000 pesos? Yes. Of course,
For
there is a
sure.
cost to it. There's a cost to it to your reputation, and people might think that you're just after the money. But I think you are in a valid state because if you happen to have 7 people added to your team, I'd like to think that's a very important role. I think it's a leadership position, and a
Mm-hmm.
5,000 peso increase, $100 increase does not feel commensurate to the 7 people that you need to worry about, that you need to manage and build.
Especially
So,
this person has never managed a team
exactly. So parang for me,
previously.
may konting disconnect. So, baka
Mm-mm.
kulang ng isang zero. Baka
That's
either
great
kulang ng
news.
isang zero or kulang ng one sa unahan. Baka naman 15,000 pesos yung ano mo, yung increase mo. So try to ask. And I think even if the HR would say, no, I'm sorry, it's really 5,000 pesos, at least you get to have an idea how do they compute for it. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you're really not satisfied, it's going to be another red flag. Then this is a company that does not properly
Compensate.
give compensate their own people. So it's a red flag, meaning will this even encourage you to aspire for another level of promotion in the future? Kung limang, I mean, what's 5,000? That's like going to a club on a Saturday night with 2 or 3 friends. That's not a lot, especially kung pamilyado ka pa at may mga anak ka pa.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true.
How about you, Pa?
Well, again, there's no exact percentage or amount to a promotion. We mentioned it. It will depend on the industry and also on the company performance. A company that's not hitting targets cannot really afford
Agree.
bonuses or even steep promotion increases. No. And as an employee, you would also know if you're hitting your targets, if the company is in a good position. But definitely, if it's a jump from being, say, a product manager, and now I'm imagining you're going to be a leader managing 7 people. That's a very important role. It's a leadership role, as Jonathan mentioned. So you have all the right to ask how was the amount computed, and
Baka
how
may
can you
typographical error lang.
and how you can renegotiate. Because again, Jonathan, if you're unhappy with it, and say you transfer to another company and easily get what, 20 to 30% increase in the new offer, this company may want to rethink no, the cost of losing you as well.
I like what you said, Fa. I think there's a space for renegotiation here, as long as you explain to them that, hey, 7 people, I think are it's a lot of responsibility and duty. May I inquire why 5,000 is the only increase, and is it at par to what the rest of the leaders and managers are also getting? Right. All right. Before I end, we don't have time now, guys, but I'd like to cap this off quickly. Can I get an exclamation mark? Did we learn something today? So
I
this is
did.
the first episode. I did also. I did. I had so many aha moments as well in just a short amount of time. Guys, if you have any letters to share, if you have any concerns, this is only the first episode. I would expect that there are going to be more of you who will finally realize that you can do this, right? I admit I won't be able to answer all of your letters on the chat box and LinkedIn and Facebook, but I may be able to feature them here together with Farah. Right? Thank you for being my partner in this session. I can't wait to see you in the
Thank
episode 2 next
you.
week.
Yep.
Thank you. And if you guys are into podcasts, may I invite you to please give us a listen on Spotify. So, speaking of career management and career tips, this is from Grit to Great, co hosted by my brother Jed. Please scan the QR code or copy the link and please give us a review or a rating because our algorithm is not just based on the number of listens, it's based on the number of ratings that we get from our listeners. Thank you. And by the way, can I just, how do you call? Can I just show someone here? Just wait for a bit. Because this boy,
Oh my gosh!
it's his birthday
Our
today.
birthday boy, Tanjiro, happy
Yeah,
birthday.
happy birthday. He's just being quiet. He was sleeping when I picked him up. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. So
See you
that's my
next
email
week.
address, jonathanyabut at jycvasia.com. See you next week, Fat.
Will do.
Bye, guys.